In today's video, I'm going to be taking a quick look at Whimsical. It's described as a workspace for product teams, but I'm going to be looking at it from the perspective of a freelance consultant like me, someone who's just using it on their own to work with their clients. So over to the video. Here we are inside the Whimsical interface. I'm using the app version of Whimsical, but if you use it in the browser, it's exactly the same. What you're seeing here is the contents of my demo folder. You can organize your diagrams and your documents into folders, so you can have a different folder for each client. That's what I tend to do. And what you're seeing here are the three types of thing that you can create with Whimsical, and you can mix and match them as well. So first off, we've got diagrams. Now, a diagram is a board. All boards are created equal. I'm using this board to create a diagram. You can use boards to create wireframes as well. And this is a simple diagram. It's a swim lane chart. I'll just delete that. That's a leftover from previously. So this is a swim lane. It came as a template. So that's why you've got all these little tips, which I tend to just delete before I start working on the diagram. And it's if you've used any sort of diagramming tool like Miro or Lucid Chart or anything like that, it works exactly the same. You grab a shape from the board over here. Let's grab this one and we'll stick it over here. There we go. There's a shape, and I'm just going to type some text. And it didn't seem to pick up the shape properly. So, that's why. Let's give it an outline there. Now you can see the shape. Now, if you want a different color, you can do that. Change the color. Now, if you're using the outline mode, the color is always slightly faded out. If you're using the fill mode, the color is blocked out, and the text changes color to make the contrast work. If I have a light background, then it changes the text back to dark. So, you can also have dotted lines as well on it if you want to. If you want to change the text size, you can do that. You've got a range of variations. You can make it bold and italic. You can put bullet points and left and right. All the typical stuff that you would expect to do. And then if you want to join things up, I'm going to have a straight connector over here. It provides really useful guidelines to make sure that you are keeping your diagrams nice and tidy. I always find there's nothing worse than a diagram that ends up with lots of arrows going all over the place. If they're horizontal and vertical, they just make it a lot easier to read. As you will have seen there, you can put text in the middle. I don't know if I spelled that right. Let's zoom in. Oh, I didn't. There we go. And you can have different types of arrows, and they automatically make the connections. It's really quite simple. As you can see here, you've got a menu showing the different types of arrows you can have a dotted line. You could put arrows on both ends if you want to. You can duplicate the arrow, and then you can do things like arranging them. If you've got things behind each other, you can change the arrangement as well. Nothing out of the ordinary at all. You can add icons as well. If let's say you wanted a closed caption icon. I don't know why you would want a closed caption icon on here, but you could do. And you can change the icon to something else if you want to. An audio descriptor icon. So very simple, very easy to use, especially with the templates that they provide. And there's a whole host of these, which I won't go into now, because what I want to do is move on to the wireframes. Now, this again is a template. This is a template homepage for a website. So you can see the different types of sections within the homepage. This is not as sophisticated as something like Figma or Balsamic. You're quite limited in the types of shapes that you can add, and you'll very quickly reach those limitations, I would expect. So I tend to use this for very quick and dirty mock-ups. If I want something any more complex, I'll go to Balsamic. One thing I do like to do, if I create a board and I'm going to go to mind map mode, this is actually why I went to Whimsical straight in the first place, because it allows me to create mind maps very quickly. We can create branches and another branch, and then you can add things. I'm just using the keyboard to add stuff to it, add more, and you can make connections between things. Not as sophisticated, again, as something like Mind Manager, which I used to use on Windows. But for most of my purposes, this does really well. I use it for note taking primarily, and if you can copy and paste this, you just copy and paste a branch or the whole mind map, and then that will go into Notepad, into a text file, and then you can start working with the text in there. But I use the mind map to organize my thinking. Often I'm doing this with a client in front of them, or on a call with them, and it just helps to brainstorm ideas, move things into particular orders, get the priorities sorted. If you're brainstorming and you need some help with ideas, let's think. Let's say software to help with project management, and you're running out of ideas, then you can ask it to generate some ideas for you. And then finally, if I go back to my folder, you can create documents, and documents I find probably the least useful part of Whimsical. They're basically text files, and you can add in boards, whether it's mind maps or diagrams or wireframes, into a document, so you can keep things all together in one place. I tend not to use this so much. Now that's probably because I use Whimsical as a standalone, working on my own, and then when I send things to clients, I send them outside of Whimsical in another document, probably a Word document or a Google Doc or something like that. So in that case, I would just go to my wireframe, and I would share and export a PNG file, and I just download that and embed it. Or you can just take a section of the file and share that, and then that you can just download that section of it. That's how I use it. That's why I tend not to use the documents. So everything you're seeing here is available on the free version of Whimsical. If you go to the paid for version, you do that because you want to be working with a team, working with other people within the same Whimsical file. Within the free version, I can share this, I can make it live so people can view it on the web, but it's basically public. You can't keep it private just to a particular group on the free version. I'll leave it there. I hope that's been useful. Any feedback or comments would be really helpful. If you've got any questions about Whimsical and how I use it, just drop them into the comments in the comments box below. Thank you.